Vitor, fedonk yourself with the microphone.
Fuck.
And with that,
We just got bonked.
welcome to the 7th ever episode of Inside the Box. Thank you all for tuning in today. I am Christopher Ferrante. Mr. Bonk over here is...
I'm the stat guy. Vitor de Silva.
And we have to my left...
Chris Corto. Currently witnessing Vitor give himself a severe concussion with the microphone.
And killing the mic.
And break it.
That should be better now.
Let's go.
Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a redraft in a little while, but first we will quickly touch upon the Bruins weekend. Very interesting.
God damn.
We will, I'm going to fix the audio for you real quick. I'm going to put you in 3.
Vitor, that's a blasphemous statement, considering that we go to a religious college. This might be...
It should be good now. But yes, the game this weekend was against Pittsburgh on this past Saturday. Was the second of 2 in Boston. Nice shot. Oh.
Yeah, airball.
Yep. And the Bruins lost 4-1 on Thursday night against Pittsburgh. However, they won against them on Saturday afternoon in a very wild game.
We absolutely coconut mauled them, Chris.
Yes, we did. I recorded the game because I was at work, but a little kind of spite, not to at the NHL, but NHL Network for us said that the Pittsburgh at Boston game was on NHL Network. So that's the one I recorded because my brother's a Penguins fan, I'm a Bruins fan, so we wanted just neutral announcers for that game. It was fine. However, when we went back and watched it, as it said Pittsburgh at Boston, we turn it on and it's Tampa Bay at Detroit because that's very often that has happened, at least for...
What was it on?
At my house, it was on Nesson, of course. Yeah. It's probably just because of like regional areas. It decided to play that instead, but they got to fix that to show which game is actually being shown. Because my brother and I had worked 6 hours, and we were just so pissed off that we thought the game was lost. But luckily, Nesson was already starting its rerun, and so we caught it in the second period, about 4.5 minutes in, when the game was already 2-2, and 5 seconds after turning it on, it was 3-2 Pittsburgh, and. The game just got wilder and wilder from there. I mean, we ended up winning, 7-5? Or, yeah.
Do we want to take 5 minutes to talk about, Nesson and, that whole deal? With how...
what regarding them?
Okay, so my opinion on, Nesson and stuff is that, I appreciate that it's, a place that I could always go to watch the Bruins, but I also find it kind of annoying that if I want to, I literally paid for NHL on my phone so that I could watch the games if I wasn't at home or anything. And the app is a little more streamlined than it would be if I had to actually go to Nesson's website. But
yeah, Nesson's website is
it's horrible.
I just watch on Xfinity on campus here since we have that. But
still, if I wasn't on campus and I wanted to actually use my phone to watch it, that's what I was paying for an NHL subscription for a while to actually be able to do that. But every time I try to do it, it would always say there's a regional blackout. You're not allowed to watch this on here. So I was what am I even paying for this for?
Right. Yeah, it's very difficult when they're saying they're trying to grow the game and there's a lot of these blackouts and then other issues or just misconceptions with NHL Network itself having different games labeled than what is actually airing in certain regions and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of issues with both Nesson and NHL since they're trying to grow the game, and it's just
especially since
hopefully it'll be easier when ESPN comes in.
What was it? MSNBC had the rights to the NHL, right?
Oh my god,
yeah, it was just NBC, NBCSN Sports.
Yeah, and they were I don't know. It's so aggravating trying to actually find out where you can watch the game because either MSNBC is doesn't have anything on it, or you have to go to Nesson to watch it. And then there's also the deal with if you wanted to watch a Bruins game versus someone else and you have to listen and you're not a Bruins fan and you have to listen to Jack Edwards, I can understand why you'd get sick of listening to him after a while.
Same time though, to be fair, everyone who's oh, Bruins announcers are so biased. Well, did you ever think that they're on a New England sports network station?
That's
same
true.
thing with biases for other teams. It's a lot of people don't talk about how there's other teams that also have literally announcers who are paid to focus on that one team.
The Sabres.
I was just gonna say Rick Giannett is like one of the most like long-time tenured ones for a team, and one who just retired the last few years with the New York Rangers guy. He was very iconic for them and well, excuse me, that was the announcer. That was the announcer of the anthem and stuff. But he like the I think the speaker announcers and the color guy are still the same. But yeah, a lot of teams even have the same just homers. I mean, one that received backlash recently was the previous radio announcer for continuous, the guy who's still there, the radio announcer for Tampa Bay during the last Cup run.
What did he do?
Just like the way he announced, a lot of people thought it was really annoying and stuff.
What was there like a specific?
No, just like his voice they didn't like. He kind of like went over the top. They thought he was like this kind of like spazzing out a lot and stuff.
You know who has a really great announcer? Like whenever you hear the game, is the Caps guy.
My brother doesn't like.
Yeah.
Sometimes he has good calls. Sometimes it's like a little.
No, I just love it when he's like, he scored, and like the way that he says it, it's one of my favorite.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. And then the longtime Hurricanes announcer was it John Ferguson, who is now like the national guy who took over for Emmerich. He is kind of like the new national announcer, but he also is one. But geez, who's the Kenny Albert? He's not bad. Like he was always like the like non like focus game, like the other game later on national TV that Emmerich wouldn't cover, and like he did a good job, and he still does, like during the playoffs and all that too. But yeah, each people have their own announcers, and some people have fan bases love them and even hate them and stuff. But it just that's who's doing it, and if you don't want to hear one day, like you do with the other and stuff.
You ever watch a Mike Tirico game called? It's not bad. He does a pretty solid job for someone who's his sport.
Yes.
That's not his main sport.
Yeah, it took me a second to match the name because he has not been a name that's been really consistent until like the last year and a half, and he's doing a phenomenal job, especially at the what did they even call those games? The outdoor games? They're not Winter Classics.
Outdoor Classics.
Was
The Heritage Classic.
Yeah.
Heritage Classic
Heritage
is
Classics.
those are. I think the Heritage Classic is more like in the fall, as opposed to like where the Winter Classic is.
Normally it
Is
would
in
be
the spring.
yes.
Yeah, the Heritage
just 'cause
Classic
of
is like in
everything
the
with
fall
COVID.
more so because that's like I own the Jets Heritage Classic jersey, and the reason why you can tell is because they have just like a giant like
Right, yeah.
like red maple leaf on it that says Heritage Classic.
Right. Yeah, and usually you're right. That usually is the fall or sometime randomly.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of the
early
season
spring
more.
or late winter, like February, March even too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just what he has done a good job. And if he actually, I can easily see him like becoming a full-time like member, like very in the near future, if ESPN brings him into their services and things, if they choose that.
Side note: did you guys see what happened to Paul Pierce?
No. I don't follow baseball, so I couldn't, or basketball. Wow.
Chris, you have to leave.
Dude, you know why I just said
Baseball.
baseball is because we were talking about the new Red Sox jerseys earlier. But
yeah.
I literally was thinking basketball, and then I think I saw your hat, and I said baseball. That's why that just came up. No, I know. Paul Pierce, Boston Celtics legend.
Got a little party going on.
Yeah,
in
he had a
his
little
Instagram. live.
get together.
Oh, yeah.
I bet they were all vaccinated. They were being socially distanced.
Yeah. He was only didn't he have like a blunt in his hand too?
Either it was a blunt with
Or a
marijuana,
cigar.
or was it or a cigar.
Yeah,
Either way,
Something of the sort.
if it's legal, but I think the reason why he was let off was
The lovely ladies in the room.
I think it was more because of Disney. If he was
true.
if he was at NBC, if he was in the Boston like news, I think they'd be like,
Is ESPN an affiliate of Disney?
Disney owns.
It's all like
ESPN.
they own like everything.
Yeah.
But,
That's why they like strippers. No.
You know, that's what kind of like upsets me about like companies like that, because do you remember
Next thing you know, Disney owns us.
you better be making big money then.
Walt, I'm sorry.
But just remember what happened like the Houston Rockets GM with the what was it, Hong Kong situation that was going on.
Oh
a
yeah.
while back, yeah. that was
And
a few
then
years ago.
LeBron James came out as saying, "Hey man, people could lose their jobs. You got to watch what you say." Like,
Like okay.
it's like, yeah, I don't know. That's just like it worries me when like big corporations like that own public sports media and like other stuff like that, because then you can't really have a platform or whatever to stand for, because you got to do what's right for the company or else you're going to get canned, you know?
Right. But
to get back to what we were going to actually do for this episode
back
after
to,
I totally derailed it.
Bruins stuff. The Bruins played Philadelphia last night, which was the 5th of April, and they lost in a dramatic fashion in overtime after Marshy got tangled up and held and throwing down one of the Flyers players in the offensive zone before Bergeron unfortunately heel clipped in the back and then sent defenseman Travis Sanheim in.
A nice little breakaway, nice little top cornsy.
He's underrated. He is like a good player. Granted, he hasn't had the best like offensive season, but in his career against Boston, I think he has like 14 points.
I think up until last year, when they were going off, I think the Flyers have like a very like underrated core roster of guys. Like guys like, well, everyone knows Giroux because it's Claude Giroux. He's the captain.
Did you catch the kind of classy thing he did last night? I didn't even realize.
No, I didn't notice.
So Crowley like went off sides, but before the whistle blew, I think Giroux was still playing for him, and then, like the stick came out of Crowley's hands, or he was like Crowley kind of like flips out a lot if he's off sides. I noticed.
Yeah.
He always has the face of like a 5-year-old who's annoyed on his face. He's like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then I think his stick got knocked out right after that, and he immediately like went around to like look at Giroux, who accidentally knocked it away, and Giroux actually kind of immediately smiled and with his stick lifted up Crowley's stick and handed it to him.
Didn't Craig Smith catch some guy before he like smashed his head into the
he
boards
was
last
That
night?
was Sanheim. That was the OT winner.
That's a hashtag respect moment.
That's a hashtag good guy Craig Smith moment.
Yeah. I thought that was cool by Giroux though too.
Give him 5 Vitor points.
Throw it up on the screen right now.
Craig Smith, 5 Vitor points for saving Travis Sanheim from serious injury.
Right.
But
and then we play them again tonight, April 6th. It was a must-win for Philly. They're just behind us in the standings, and now we play them again on this coming Saturday.
Yeah, we're both fighting for the playoff spot.
It's very interesting. Yes.
This means that Carter Hart is starting tonight.
Unless he's hurt and they're playing someone else randomly.
Oh my God.
No, if they have Carter Hart, we have Swayman. And Swayman hasn't played an NHL game in his life.
You could kind of balance it in that way.
It's going to be either a very high score game or...
It's going to be 80s hockey.
It's going to be 7-6.
Yeah. Yeah, as we were just saying, Jeremy Swayman was a backup last night, and he's going to be making his NHL debut tonight as Yaroslav Halak. The other day received positive test. Again, they're still trying to see if it was a false positive. He still has to stay in like the protocol for the league and all that, and kind of like with his new test, see if it was a false positive or if it was actually real. But now because of Rask already hurt, but he traveled with the team apparently to Philly. And then also now Halak out. Now we have Vladar, who's been backing up since Rask was hurt, but now we have Swayman. And so you potentially have the future of your team right here in goalies, which could even start next year because both Rask and Halak are free agents at the end of this year. So this, depending on how these two do and depending on how long both of our veteran starters are out, this could kind of sway or decide the future of the team just like within the next coming months, which is
I've seen a lot of places saying that Rask has been quoted as saying that he wants to, after his contract's up, I think he wants to retire.
Yes.
So I'm not sure as much we'll see him going into unrestricted free agency as much we'll see him just kind of hang up the skates, you know?
Right. It's like kind of the same thing. I heard a couple of like kind of contradicting articles kind of like that, and same with Krejci too. Both of them at one point in time had said, yeah, after their contract ends that they'd be done. But then Krejci has come back within the last year and said that he'd be interested in still re-signing and stuff. Whereas I remember in high school, actually, I saw that article saying that he was probably done after his contract. I remember looking at it. I remember like where it was because that article stood out to me so much. I was like by the cafeteria after school, and then I saw that I was like, oh, his contract's gonna be up right after I graduate college and stuff, which is just like weird to think that I remember that. But
Chris had his tater tots and his cheeseburger and his chocolate milk for whatever reason.
No, I was actually in the bathroom.
Oh, it's chalky walkie milk.
Yeah,
it's chalky walkie milk.
But yeah, and then there's a couple things saying Rask might want to do like a very short term re-sign, but I guess we'll see with each of them. But
Yeah,
time will
it
tell.
has to be very cheap then, because there's no way I'm giving more than $4 million.
I mean, you see the way that these like young goalies we have are playing too. We have some of the saves that Vladar was making last night were nuts.
Yeah.
Like
Thomas Ask.
The 2 in the PK was phenomenal.
yeah.
Vitor's the ACDC live wire right now. It might be the old machine as well, just kind of glitching in and out. But we will see what happens.
I want to see how Swayman does tonight. You said he's doing pretty good in Providence, right, Chris?
Very good numbers in the AHL.
A sub 2.
Sub 2.
I think
Do you want me to pull it up, or you want to pull it up?
He's at a
Stack?
1.79 GAA.
I think he has like roughly like a 93 percentage for save percentage or something.
938, I'm thinking.
Something like that.
I'm the stat guy, so.
Then again, it's as we've seen before. Even if like a goalie is really good in Providence, we might like run into issues adjusting to not only like if you're on an AHL team like Providence, you're dealing with maybe like one guy on that, or 1 or 2 guys on every squad is an NHL caliber player. So when you go up to the NHL and every single one of those guys is the best guy on your team when you're in the AHL, then it's a little bit different. You know?
Right.
And you're constantly playing against those.
For sure. One article I just saw recently that was kind of interesting was the fact how someone was saying, oh, the Bruins should trade Halak before the trade deadline. And I was like, what are you talking about at first? This was like a day before he went on COVID protocol, mind you, that I saw it. But now looking at it, it does kind of make sense. If our young goalies can keep it up, it makes sense, because if you have both Rask and Halak entering, and this is all hypothetical, I'm not saying I agree with it, but it makes sense from a certain perspective when you're looking at it, with both our veteran goalies being free agents at the end of this year, where they either retire or walk for nothing. Whereas now, if you have Vladar, who can consistently play well, and depending on if Rask does come back or not, we don't know his timetable. So hypothetically, Rask comes back and you have Vladar. People are thinking that you could move Halak and get a draft pick or maybe a prospect and that out of him, and send him to a team that may be struggling a little bit with like certain goaltending issues. I mean, a good amount of teams like may come to mind. Obviously, like one team that is like hanging on to a playoff spot right now is Arizona. They were linked to like with a couple of their goaltenders, maybe moving one.
Well, we
to
were in talks
Washington.
already with them too about
Connor Garland.
Well,
Situate
not even
native.
that. Before last season, or before I think it was like during free agency, we were in a lot of talks about either a trade or something with Ekman Larson.
Yes, yeah, he only wanted to go to us
Vancouver?
or Vancouver for some reason. But can we talk about the fact how each of the teams that pretty much had a surplus of guys who are going to be on the trade bait list, they're all like holding on to the 4th playoff spots right now. Like Nashville probably isn't going to move anyone right now because they're like a point ahead, or they're tied with Chicago, which is kind of come down to the wire. It's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
So it's like, if Nashville doesn't
Chicago-
move anyone, they could still miss playoffs and then not have gotten anything. But then you have to gamble with that, because like if they
Chicago's-
can make playoffs.
Chicago's another one of those teams that has like an interesting goalie situation, because you have Bruins legend Malcolm Subon, who hasn't really been a starting goalie for most of his career. He's always been like more of a backup. And I remember he was doing pretty good at the start of the season. Like he was making some pretty good saves. Like I remember he had a really nice paddle save.
And then it's been Lankinen, the rookie
Yeah.
goalie of the who's other than the Minnesota rookie goalie. Those are the 2 best rookie goalies of the year right now and things. And then you have teams like Arizona who have been linked to maybe trading Alex Goligoski as a defenseman, or Connor Garland, who has put up now 30 points through 35 games. Like really, and he's only on his contract's only $775,000 right now.
Wow.
He's making less than someone paid for the Wayne Gretzky rookie card that sold over the summer, which is just crazy to think.
You're going to have to trade a lot for Garland then.
It's interesting, but the thing is, he will be a free agent. I forget if it's RFA or UFA at the end of this year, which could complicate things. But then you have that thing. It's depending on how they do that. And then one shock is just St. Louis right now. They're just probably not going to make playoffs. They have to play.
Good.
I think they have 17 games left, and I think it said like about 13 of these final games they're playing like the top 3 teams in the division.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like a little bit of Bruins like kind of revenge on Krug in a way, just since he left and stuff. Granted, we got to fight our own struggle right now. We still have a long way to be before we can secure this 4th or even 3rd spot. But I don't think Pittsburgh's going to drop. I think the standings are going to stay.
Here's my thing, though. How many games behind everyone are we at this point? I saw it. It's like a pretty
3
significant.
games in hand. We've played the least amount in our division.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant deficit in games that we played. And I think all these other teams have played Buffalo way more than we have. Like, we just played them for the first couple of times, a week ago or so?
Yeah.
So
right now on the
those
app,
are pretty much like gimme wins,
right?
Essentially,
I don't think we're playing the Devils until maybe like one last time.
Yeah,
and we've struggled against them.
We have. They've made good teams look bad.
Yeah,
Mackenzie Blackwood is a goat.
Yeah, and
maybe we should
Paul
trade
Murray
for
just owns
Honestly.
us. And Miles Wood's been playing well too.
Mm-hmm.
But according to the NHL.com app, the way it looks right now for the East Division, Mass Mutual East, is Washington's played 38, so have the Islanders, and Pittsburgh. They've all played 38 games. And then Boston's played 35. Philadelphia, the Rangers, and Buffalo have all played 37, and New Jersey's played 36. So we've played the least by 1, but we're either 2 or 3 games behind each team and stuff. But with the way it looks right now, that top spot in the East could go to any of the 3 teams right now up top, Capitals, Islanders, or Penguins. We're probably still going to finish 4th if we make it, I think, at this point. I don't think we're going to – I don't see the Islanders, Capitals, or even Penguins going on like a big losing streak right now.
Yeah.
They're going to stay at the top 3. It's just any order of those 2 because
pending any like catastrophic injury.
Sure, and the thing is, I don't get how, but other than Boston, who seems to have a lot of injury issues each year, Pittsburgh is the team that I think has had the most injury issues consistently over the last like 6 years, and they still play and win. It's like Malkin's been out for a couple weeks now almost.
It's all about the prospects.
It is. I think Pittsburgh, the way they've grown their system works so well.
Okay, but here's the thing too. When you don't have Malkin, who do you have?
You still have Crosby, obviously.
And when you don't have Crosby,
Malkin. And it's weird. Like Malkin always goes off too, like when Crosby's missing, because obviously he's on second line, but when Crosby's out, he's on first, and he can have more time to kind of take advantage of
Malkin
what
could
he
be
can
his own like top line center if he wanted to be.
Oh, he would have been if he was on any other team.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
no question. Like his career could be completely different. He's still a great career, but he could be that much better of a on a ratings list.
Yeah,
he could have been like arguably a top 5 guy still at this point in time.
The Crosby and Malkin is like an older version of the McDavid Draisaitl thing.
Yeah, it is. That's a good
1-2.
comparison right now, for sure.
But it's a different situation, I think, more in the fact that the Oilers don't really know what they're doing with Draisaitl, because either he's up with McDavid like he was for a while before, or he's his own center on the second line.
Sure.
And I think that as good of a player like Draisaitl is, I don't think he puts up the same numbers when he's not playing on McDavid's line as when he is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look at that stat somewhere.
That's my opinion, because I feel like a player like McDavid is like one of those guys who's like he's more of a playmaker than he is a scorer, even though he's like amazingly talented either way. He tends to lean more to making his line mates better, just by the fact that he gets in good positioning. He's fast. He's got good hockey vision. He can see what's going on in the play, and he can set up for really nice goals. So he elevates the players who are on his line a little bit more. But I think Draisaitl's a great player in his own right. But for a few years, I remember seeing interviews people talking about how much he was struggling and how disappointing he was, and how he's just coming into his own now. So
right, it's weird how some of these with that thing you're saying Edmonton they're still in playoffs, but it's just their identity. It's they're a team that's always we have no clue where they're going to be each year, and then even with their players, they have no clue how they're going to use some of them. So it's just interesting.
But we do know that they're just going to probably end up fizzling out either before or during playoffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I mean, I know you guys are haters on the Leafs quite a lot and say they'll never get anywhere, but they've had the best start of their franchise that they ever have through this many games. Granted, before we hop into it, yes, we know that everyone's oh, their division's so much weaker and all that. Still, mind you, the East Division has Buffalo just to beat up all the time too. So you could give them that. That's Ottawa and Buffalo. They're kind of each division right there has an easy team to pick on.
But to also be fair, the East Division has
It does. Yeah, I know.
How many teams in the East Division have won the Stanley Cup within the last 5 years?
Well,
3 of them. Well, no. So Boston's more than 5 years ago. So 2, because Capitals and Pittsburgh.
But okay, so you have,
or that have been.
I was going to bring that up too. Who's been to a Stanley Cup final? Boston.
Yeah.
Capitals
Boston.
won one.
Pittsburgh's
won a few over the past few years.
Islanders were conference finalists last year.
Yeah, Islanders are really, really strong. Really scary.
Rangers have Panarin back. Their offense is they're a plus 18. The Rangers,
yeah. Well, when you have Mika Zibanejad scoring, getting 5 and 6 point nights consecutively on the Flyers, then that'll bump up your plus minus.
I think one thing to look at too, though, the Central Division was arguably the weakest at the beginning of the year based on paper.
Mm-hmm.
They're arguably the best right now, like with standings and stuff. Like Florida's at the top of the league, which is insane. Tampa Bay is still right there with them.
Yeah.
Right now Avalanche have the advantage because they have 1 game in hand. Still, Panthers are in second. Then you have Tampa Bay in 4th and Carolina in 6th. And so that's pretty good for that one division, already having 3 teams in the top 6.
Is that who's in is the West including Dallas or the Central including
The Central's
Dallas?
including Dallas.
Central's including
and
Dallas.
The thing with Dallas is, too, I mean, we were just talking about Nashville and Chicago. They have the same amount of games played, 39. Nashville's up by 2 points. Chicago has 3 games Dallas has 3 games in hand, and they're only 3 points behind Chicago, and they're only 5 points behind Nashville. They're still in this, too. And I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting about them because, like, they kind of had a rough – they're at 500. They're 13, 13, and 10.
Yeah.
And so, like, they have a weird season, but I could still see them doing something at the very end. They're on a little bit of a hot streak right now. Just kind of finding their game. And so it's that division is going to come down to the it's like with the East. You have your top 3 situated: Florida, Tampa Bay, and Carolina, any order of that, because they're all at most within 3 points of each other.
And then the West, no one really cares about.
The West is kind of, I mean, again, top 3, they're just going to finish in whatever. Colorado's probably going to win it. But Vegas is still right there, 4 points behind with a game in hand.
Don't sleep on Arizona.
No, I mean, they're going to make playoffs, but I don't think they're going to finish top 3. They'll still hang on to the 4th seed. But so I think that playoff race is kind of already. We still got a good amount of games to go, a little less than 20. But I think out of all the divisions, that one I would feel safer betting money on that's going to be the 4 teams. Central would be the last one I pick, just because that's a mess. And then Canadian division's pretty much secure, I think, at this point too. 8-point gap between 4th and 5th seeds, but I think those 2 divisions are kind of settled. It's the East and the Central that kind of are going to come down to the end.
Just to come back to what we were talking about, the Toronto Maple Leafs are good on paper, but I still don't see them doing anything. And Vitor, you can chime in if you believe any different from me at any point. Go ahead. But
I don't know.
Yeah, you have a Vancouver team who's been struggling for God knows how long, since 2011.
Yeah, and they're out.
You have a Jets team who, I think they're 3rd in the standings for that division right now.
They're second right now.
They're second right now? Well, You have a very good Jets team. I think that the Jets are always a sleeper.
They always are.
But then again, sometimes they struggle to close out series, as we've seen before. But I like the Jets. The Jets are a pretty good team. Calgary, I just find disappointing most of the time.
I thought they were going to finish in the top 4 of the division. That was a shock to me.
They are consistently disappointing to me.
And with all the new additions, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
half
most
of
Flames,
Vancouver.
They burn out.
Well, that's pretty good, yeah. But, ever since they lost, remember they were coming in number 1, what was it, 2 years ago?
When they played Colorado first round.
And then they got, booted.
Dude, I picked them to go to the Cup that year in the bracket. I think I had Philly and Calgary. Because Philly looked good at the time.
I don't count out Colorado ever.
No, you can't. But, I mean, I think Toronto's getting past the first round. I do. Because
that's a hot take.
Because
hot take alert.
The way that the playoffs are this year, I forget if you guys because I didn't really realize the details until a couple weeks back. So it's
how are they going to set up? Who's going to be your Eastern? So there's going to be your Eastern bracket and your Western bracket.
This is what happens. It's not even doing that. That's what's weird. I found this. So what happens is the first round, you just play your division. 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3.
Ah.
After the first round ends, whoever's left in the total league, which comes down to what, 8 teams at that point?
Yes.
Vito, you're breaking things. It's just bad wiring, and it might be loose on the mic end because it's secure in here. But if it just, yeah. We'll just see what happens. But anyway, yeah, so like division format would be, it would be 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3.
Uh-huh.
And then after the first round, wow.
How did it get worse?
Yo, I don't know.
I'm switching you to 3.
Do we have a different cable?
No, it's not that. It's just like the mix of the Zoom thing also with the, I'm just gonna, I don't know how to fix.
It's not me.
I don't know who it is, but all right, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. We just won't move for a second. Anyway, as I was trying to tell you, the Zoom doesn't want me to tell you apparently. 1 through 4. 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. Division format normal.
Mm-hmm.
That would bring it down to what? 6 teams? Oh, excuse me, 8 teams after the 16 are done.
Yeah.
At that point, this is where it's weird. At that point, they just reseed all the playoff teams left based off points or standings. So in the second round, you could have a team like Pittsburgh playing Minnesota. You could have a team like Boston playing Winnipeg. It's just all about just reseeding overall at that point, which
So is it just
is
gonna
very
be-
interesting. I don't know whose mic this is. Is it mine?
I don't think it's mine.
It's one of us. But let me.
I think it's yours.
It might be me, actually.
Damn it, Christopher.
Damn it, Christopher. Let's look at the Blues.
So it's just very interesting in the way that this could, like, I wonder if the league might try this in the future too, just kind of just doing overall standings.
So what you're saying is
things.
so they're gonna go 1 through 8, just based on points.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So it's
after
not
the
gonna be
first
East versus West
after
anymore?
the first round, it's just going to be over because like there's really no conferences this year.
Yeah.
It's all this individual divisions. So it's just kind of like at that point, like
I mean, it makes sense to me.
yeah, hypothetically, if you're looking at like yeah, it's weird, but it would be kind of cool. You could. You can end up seeing Boston playing Edmonton like second or third round, which is just
I was
insane.
thinking about this the other day. Do you think there is going to be any impact in regards to the fact that these teams have only played the same, 8 teams the entire year?
I do.
And do you think that some people are going to get like blown out of the water by teams you wouldn't expect because they just haven't played them?
That's a really good question. We'll see how long this episode can keep going, but it's not me. I just pulled that up.
Is it me then?
I think it is you.
All right.
Yeah, it is. It's so I'm gonna switch you actually over to 3 real quick. See what happens there.
Let's try to fix it.
All right,
What if that's what broke it?
let me do this real quick. All right, so now you are gonna be 3 once I fix the audio. I just gotta get you set, or maybe it won't let me since we've already started.
I think we should get started on at least the first 15. Get through the Bruins.
Actually, yeah. So we're gonna get into the draft thing now, the redraft. Based off what kind of inspired this was how the Bruins picked Zach Senyshyn, only played a 23-second shift or something like that in the second period the other night. Meanwhile, a guy who was picked several picks after him in the same draft, which was the 2015 draft, scored a goal, and that was Travis Konecny for Philly. And so, I think yours fine. Maybe we just need another XLR cable for Chris's mic. There's
Maybe
another
we
one in
do.
the box if you want to grab it. So
check.
if you want to grab that, I can keep rambling about this. But so we decided maybe it's best to it'd be the other box.
Okay.
We decided that
Vitor, I can go get it. You just do
Okay.
it. Yeah.
we might do kind of a redraft up to the first at least 15 picks, depending on how long this goes, because we have been trying to keep these to an hour for all of you. But we'll see what happens with this. But so we've decided to kind of look at the draft and just kind of see the order and who was picked when and how much that would change. And so
I think we can start off by the de facto 1 and 2.
yes, I agree.
It's not even a question. Edmonton number 1.
With
They get
their same pick,
Zach.
Bogosian.
Sen-
I think it's Zach with a H. I don't even know. So
Do you like my little eraser? Because
I
there's
do. Yes, very nice.
gosh.
And I think there's no more. So that's good to know that XLR cable is bad. So
Watch
Red's
it.
my favorite color, anyways.
it works out.
Okay, cool.
All right, so yeah, I'm unless you object, I still think the top 2 picks are still the same.
I'm just gonna. I need to look over the list again. I don't even
Sure.
remember.
Edmonton went first overall. Buffalo second. It was McDavid and Jack Eichel.
Is it just the mic? Do you hear that?
Maybe. Yeah. It's the Zoom. I'm not talking about the recording. I'm talking about the box that the mic's in. They said there was some issues with this. They're supposed to be trying to order a new one.
All right.
So it just might be that, and we'll just have to kind of deal with
At least
that.
it's not as bad anymore.
I'll just turn down our audio levels on the headphones so we don't hear it as much.
Okay.
But sorry for all you listeners.
So for number 1 and 2, we have Connor McDavid, obviously the generational player, best player in the past decade, no
Yeah.
question.
He's already been in the league for what, 6 years now?
6 years, and he's already
Yeah.
the best player we've seen.
He's like roughly 14, 15 points above everyone else right now. when it comes
Generational
to-
talent,
Oh yeah.
unarguable.
So yeah, I'm with you. I think the top 2 are just without a question, no brainers, and I think those stick. Third pick is where it gets interesting.
So we have the Coyotes.
We have Dylan Strome as the 3rd pick.
I want to
This
see
is-
what
this-
you guys, who you guys would have picked 3rd overall if you were Arizona.
I'm
here.
going over this first 30.
Sure.
Are we doing like a hindsight is 2020 type thing, based on?
Yeah, and I'm not even basing it off rosters, but obviously just like if the best player is available, we'll just like in that sense kind of pick here.
Okay,
Stuff.
so we have.
Do you want to just list out the top 5 teams right now? Toronto went 4th, and then I think it was Carolina that went
Yep.
5th. Just to kind of put that into perspective a little bit more.
And all the guys we have on here, some of the names that are really popping out to me. Do you want to like write this on the side? Just like have like a pool
Player
on
names?
the side. Yeah, player names.
We can just talk it if it's.
Well, I'm looking through and I'm
Yeah.
seeing who who I know kind of like really stands
Sure.
out to me.
I mean,
So my first one, where's DeBrusk? All right, so we have Matt Barzal was drafted 16th.
Yep.
Okay. And
I'm just gonna
all the
put
way
Barzal.
down to 35th, we have Sebastian Aho.
35th
Yep, 35th.
in 2015. Jeez.
Yep.
Are we going to still talk in the first round too for later on? Because you can still throw Marner down, who went 4th overall. If you
Yeah,
would.
I'm just saying, like if we're doing a redraft, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
we're doing
So
that
if you want the
redraft.
biggest names, I'm looking through and trying to see who's had the biggest impact on their team so far.
I think Arizona was silly in not drafting. Well, can someone pull up Strome's junior stats?
Let's see.
Because
I'll pull it up on Wikipedia right now. So.
it's a big miss. They,
I can't combine overall, but let's just say the season before he was drafted,
yeah.
which would have been 2014, 15.
15.
Through 68 games, he had 129 points, 45 goals, 84 points.
Oh, that's even.
And he was playing with McDavid, mind you. He was.
Oh.
So that helps. But also he still had a good career. He hasn't been on great teams. If based off kind of some of the names right now, who do you guys think Arizona should have took? I actually have an answer that might surprise you, but I think this actually should have been. Well, to put in perspective,
I'm looking.
I'll tell you what I think. I still think Toronto picks Marner 4th overall. I do. Because there's another player I'm looking at that I think would have went 3rd overall.
I'm looking at the Coyotes' offense, the stats right now, and this is probably the ugliest thing. Their leading point getter was Olivier Ekman-Larsson. He played a full 82 games. He had 43 points. Oh my God, that is filth.
Yeah.
In the worst way possible.
Yep.
So that's why I think I'd pick Marner. His talent without does he play alongside McDavid or does he
Matthews, you mean?
Matthews?
McMatthews?
He does. Or does he play with Tavares? It switches.
No, he plays with
Nylander
Matthews.
now plays with Tavares. It's Marner with Matthews.
Yeah.
I think Marner is the catalyst for Matthews.
Okay. What about you? Who are you thinking?
I would have
third
gone
overall?
Barzal 3rd overall, I
Okay.
think.
You think?
I think with the way that he's turned out, like in recent years, and the impact he's had on this
Don't put him down
Islanders
just
team.
yet.
Ooh.
I think I would have taken Barzal third overall with, again, hindsight is 2020.
Sure.
Because even Boston passed on him for a Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah.
So I think Barzal is one of those guys who helps to turn a team around. He's one of those, he's a superstar in his own right. It's just...
Actually, you want to put the initials of each of us and who we would have picked? Actually, we can do it like that.
Yeah.
Or we could do a vote.
Because I'll tell you who I think I would have picked third overall. Well, hindsight 2020, as we're saying.
Yeah.
I think Barzal and Marner makes sense there. However, one guy this guy has 294 points through 319 games. That's pretty close. The guy I'm talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on a
I
goal.
don't think DeBrusk has that many points.
He's putting up a goal-scoring tier right now, and he has third most goals. If I was Arizona, I would have picked Mikko Rantanen third overall.
Oh, yeah.
I think
I didn't even see him on here.
He's 10th. He went 10th overall.
He went 10th? Oh, yeah.
I feel like his style would have worked with Arizona. They have good centers, but then looking at it now, and then your wingers are the ones who shoot and score for them. I feel like Rantanen made sense at 3 for Arizona, and in my eyes, Marner would have still went to Toronto 4th overall. So I don't. So and then you said Barzal.
I said
third.
Barzal.
And then Vitor, you said.
I said Marner.
Okay.
Marner's just too good of a playmaker, and I think his assist number.
Oh yeah.
Is a big not to compare him because I think he's going to be a greater player than who I'm about to say, but Krejci. His ability to find players and put him up in perfect opportunities. Sheesh.
The meme. From
I refuse.
I mean, he made Lucic a 30-goal scorer almost.
Yeah.
So
that's why I will pick
Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner.
All right.
Did you see that interview where Mitch Marner, and then he looks at the camera, he's like, what? Because an actual interviewer calls him Mitch Marner.
Yeah. So I would have put Marner. I think Marner would have gone 4th still in my eyes.
Can you see on the Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
We can. Yep.
Okay. So if I pick Barzal third, I think Rantanen goes 4th, in my opinion.
I'm gonna put an MR.
Okay.
96.
All your things are going off.
Mr. 96.
So Toronto, they wouldn't have Marner in that case. They still have McDavid.
Are we?
Fuck.
Okay, so I have an interesting question to
Okay.
consider.
Okay.
Are we basing this draft off pure talent, or are we basing it off of what the teams needed at the time as well?
You can look at it however you want.
It's tough to say at the time because I'm looking at it from now and in my perspective what I think each team would have done.
I'm looking at the
should have
stats.
done.
I'm looking at their stats right now as to with the roster that they had.
And if we were playing the expansion draft, in
The
mode,
video game, yes.
pick it, this is kind of how I would go about
Because here's the thing with the way that I look at it. If I am a team and I have a guy like Barzal who I can get to boost my offense, even if I need defense, I don't think I'd pass up on Barzal.
Sure.
Because I feel like I could draft a good defenseman lower on, but if there's a guy like Barzal, I'm not passing him up. That's how I would.
And then
be
they
as a GM.
still were a few years away from signing Tavares in free agency.
Yeah.
But I still feel like in their sense, seeing how good, from Toronto's point of view, it's this is a year before they picked Matthews too. This is wild.
Well,
I was about to say
with all of the hindsight too included,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. I don't know if you guys are looking at what each team needs at that specific time.
I feel like on Vitor, I'm looking at it now based off stats and what teams should have done differently. And I think that's how, when they did the 2003 redraft on a website, that's how they did it. And so that's
with what each team needs, or
no, just based off
of pure
talent and then career-wise, stats-wise, what each team would have done. So That's kind of how I'm doing it right here. Because if we were doing full on at the time, this would take like 6 hours just to like study.
To go through each team, see who needs what.
Right.
Yeah.
At the time,
accounting for years of development and stuff like that. Because a lot of these guys that you see on here didn't really start playing on these. Like every single guy that the Bruins drafted on here has not started playing until this year, like big minutes.
Yeah. Well, DeBrusque was like still
other than DeBrusque, like because you see and Carlo.
Yeah.
So because you see, I saw Zaboral on here. I saw Senyshyn. There's a bunch of guys that we drafted. Lawton.
All
right, so let's move on to number 5, Carolina's pick.
Wait, I didn't.
Oh, sorry, I thought.
Come on, Vitor.
I'm gonna take a big name right here.
All right.
I'm gonna take one that's unexpected.
Are you gonna say Brock Besser?
No, I'm gonna say someone who. I'm looking at stats right now.
Connect me.
No. Zach Werenski.
Okay.
Oh.
Toronto has historically not been the most in-depth with their defensemen.
Kyle Dubas is a dipshit, that's why.
Yeah. Freaking doobie. So I'm going to put Werenski. I don't know if Riley was in at that point. Was he?
Yeah, he was. Because he was a rookie when the Bruins had the comeback. He's the only one left from that 2013 collapse team.
Yeah.
So he was...
I love the term collapse team. I'm going to start using it all the time now.
Yeah.
I also just don't think, like, besides the points that Morgan Riley puts up, I don't care. Like, I simply do not care about the Maple Leafs defense core. Cool. Yeah. You put that many points. Like, if I was the Bruins, I would not have you on the ice on the final minute. I take McAvoy any day over, but that's a different story.
Yeah, it's like I always say. I think that Kyle Dubas is a clown of a GM, and I think the fact that he has all of his top players making all that money, and he still manages to lose every year.
Well, that's the thing too.
I hate the way that he.
Imagine if they hit Barzal.
He runs the team. Yeah.
He'd be like 13.
I hate the way that he runs his team. I don't think Mitch Marner's worth what you're paying him. I think he's worth like close to $1 million. He's not worth over 10. He's close to 10 mil, like maybe like an 8-9 mil contract, like what Taylor Hall has. But I don't think he's worth like.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how his career goes with the Maple Leafs and or otherwise. So I guess that's just you have to kind of wait and see. Kind of like with this draft, people comparing this to the 2003 draft, you still have to wait and see. Some guys are still playing in that old draft now. Most notably, one of the most notable being the Bruins captain, and then also just a lot of these guys still have yet to make a crazy impact yet. And so,
yeah.
But let's move on to number 5, Carolina. They had picked Noah Hannafin 5th overall.
Who should we?
All right, Chris, why don't you go first? Your initials are first.
So
I think this is where I picked Barzal.
You picked Barzal here.
Yeah.
You pick Barzal? I'm going to put Barzal there for you.
No, you already picked Barzal.
Then.
Oh, no, me. Yeah, I thought you were looking at.
Chris, those are your initials. Bud.
Well, he was looking this way. That threw me off.
Why do you say Barzal? Why?
Tell us why you say Barzal.
Wow.
Get that out of here.
Get that out of here.
It was just based off also just like again how I was drafting, who went where and stuff. Like I still think Toronto picked Marner for a reason. They liked the playmaking ability he had as like a winger and stuff. And then so I feel like Carolina like having Barzal. I mean, it's hindsight. Like that's how we're doing. Like I'm doing it. And so Hannafin got traded away. He didn't even last long in Carolina. And he's having a little bit of struggles as of the last couple of years. I think Barzal just made sense down the middle for Carolina, especially like right now. They could definitely. They still have a great like center depth by all means, but I feel like if they added him too, that could have even helped them more push it over the edge and grow that market a little bit more with a kind of fast, flashy player.
It's my opinion
looking at it now
that Carolina still picks Sebastian Aho if they just pick him earlier.
Ooh.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Yeah. With all the talent here, all those like really deep like cup runs they've been making over the past few years, Aho has been like a key part of that. Whenever you see like the scoring for the Hurricanes, Aho's usually involved, I feel, in some like way, shape, or form. So I feel like he's a good offensive piece of the team, and I feel like Carolina picks him still, but they just get him earlier instead of taking Hannafin.
Sure.
I'm looking at their roster. They still have Jeff Skinner. They had Justin Falk at 22 years old.
Well, you're looking at it based off then or based off like hindsight now?
Hindsight also like I say of all the players they have, can you shut the fuck up? Can I just fucking say my thing? I say, oh my god.
Well, it's okay.
You should turn on your laptop slightly more so the camera can keep seeing you do that. That's great.
Okay. If I were the I wouldn't mind taking Travis Konechny.
You take Konechny?
I take Konechny.
Okay.
Because
big Konechny guy.
I'm a big Konechny guy.
So here's the thing. I kind of agree with you now in retrospect with this retrospective pick. And I feel like Aho and Konechny are interchangeable for me.
Okay.
Like I could either go 5 or 6 with either of them. I was going to say Konechny next, but I could see it going either way.
So, got the Devils, the legend of Pavel Zacha.
The Devils just need anything at like every single point. So I wouldn't even go like from a need point of view with this. If I was the Devils, I would just draft anyone who could help. So
this is where I was picking Werenski.
I also want to look at their roster just to obviously
because right now they have Ty Smith, they have Vatanen. That's kind of like their, and then Damon Severson. They don't have the greatest detail. But just looking at it now, if we were to change it now, one player that would have made an impact on this draft with them, I think, is on the defensive side too. So I would have, looking at it now and like seeing who they should have had for this year's current roster, like Werenski.
The Devils only had one hat trick that season.
Oof.
That is a good sign that they had not a lot of offense. They're leading.
Well, it also shows that like it could have been more balanced offense too.
No, Chris.
Well,
no.
Hypothetically, I know that they weren't doing well there if they had the 6th overall pick.
So their leading goal scorer was Mike Camilleri with 27 goals and 15 assists, and he was the leading point. No, wait. Yes, he was the leading point person with.
That's an old name I haven't heard in a
with
while.
40. No, wait. Adam Henrique. He had 43.
Yeah.
But yeah, scoring depth, not really there. This is where I go with Mika Rantanen.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, throw me down for Werenski too after you're done.
I'm usually a big component in drafting centers. No matter what, I think best position anyways because they have the best knowledge of the ice in terms of defensive positioning and like awareness. Centers are.
Yeah.
I would draft a center any day, and if I have to move them at a wing, then I can try it. If not, I'll just bump them up to like the second line or something.
You know what we should totally do? Do we all have NHL 21 here right now?
I do,
I
but
don't.
it's in
I was gonna say if
home.
we all did like just doing it at home, but then like taking screenshots or something, like doing like franchise mode or something for like your 32nd or 33rd franchise,
Where
and just
I'm
seeing
in,
how you build it and stuff. See who kind of. Granted, if we all had the same console too, we could have them literally face off against each other, which would have been like really cool to see who had a better idea. But
Sorry to interrupt, but Jaromir Jagr was on that Devils team.
Yep.
Chris, who do you think?
I gave Konechny, remember?
Konechny? Okay.
You could draw like a little double arrow in between because for me it's either way. I think Aho or Konechny either goes 5th or 6th.
Who's 7th? Let's see.
7th is Philly.
Philly, they get.
And
They got Provorov.
I keep them picking that pick. Provorov is turning into a very solid D guy. And so I think that they keep him with that 7th overall pick. IP freely.
I know. I'm going to underline it because that states that it stays.
Yeah, you want to do the Marner for me as well, 4th overall, because I kept him in the same spot. Oh, might as well do
Kinda
McDavid
boring.
Michael, too.
Wait, oh.
Yeah, for the
Yeah, we can.
yeah. Everyone knows.
We
this.
know.
We know. So
I'm like writing horizontally or
I-
day.
yeah, you just
Diagonally.
noticed.
Yeah, because it's easier. It's whatever. Who? Again, I always have to look back at the roster because they still had Drew. Did they still have? Did they?
Voracek, Couturier.
Oh, they had Voracek at the time.
Oh yeah. No, Voracek. I always forget about it. Voracek was traded when Philly traded Jeff Carter to Columbus
That was
a while ago.
and Carter didn't even stay in Columbus.
No, and then at the deadline, because he was traded over the summer, I think, and then Columbus traded him at the deadline to L.A.
Oh, they had Scott Lawton was a 20-year-old. And he's still on the team. Not a bad draft to the amount of games he's played. Looking at it,
Yeah,
Shane Gostisbehere, he didn't get picked off of waivers, so
because of the contract, probably.
so they had the D.
Oh, not to interrupt too, but today is like the 3rd anniversary of the Humboldt Broncos
Oh yeah.
bus crash too, which was just I've seen a lot of that stuff popping up today too. So for those who didn't know, like that was just something that happened 3 years ago. A junior team, were they a junior? It was like some type of kind of junior hockey league or something where they were on their way to Game 5 for the playoffs for them when there was a devastating crash with a truck and 15 total people died in the crash and 14 were injured, 10 of which were players. Another was an 18-year-old statistician for the team. Their coach, the driver, the play-by-play announcer were others also. And then there's also like others, just like can't think of names right now, or just other people involved. But sad day for that too. I saw it when I was trying to pull back up my draft thing and stuff too. But not to change the note with that. Just figured I'd just bring that up briefly.
It's okay.
But then you were looking at Scott Lawton, you said.
He laid a hit last night on a.
Yeah.
That was big. RJ Umberger on that team.
Umberger.
Dude, what a guy.
Umberger. He was on the Blue Jackets. Vinny LeCavier was on that team. Oh God. Mark Streit was the 3rd leading point getter as a 37-year-old defenseman with 52 points. Holy cow. Okay, I need to look at this draft. Shabbat. I take Shabbat over Provorov.
Shabbat.
Okay.
Yeah. Shapoopy.
Okay.
What are you, music
hear
man?
me out here. Hear me out here.
All right.
I'm hearing you.
Okay. Rupe Hintz was drafted 49th. Based on his recent performance, I think I'd bump him up to here.
Really?
And he'd be playing along with Giroux or.
That's a sleeper pick, but I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a
Okay.
hints alert?
And picking him over Gurianov, who was also taking on that draft for them.
Not a bad pick
that's
for
not a
not
bad
a
pick.
bad draft for the.
My
Let's
next
start.
few are gonna be
Yeah,
like
let's head on. Let's try and do some a little bit more rapid fire.
Yeah,
they're gonna
so-
be
got
a few
8.
crazy ones.
Is Columbus.
Yep.
For me, I think they go with one of these two guys, but I feel like based off his performance, he's a little bit better than the other. I would go with Kyle Connor.
You stole my blockbuster.
You son of a! I'm in.
All three of us are the same thing.
I'm Kyle Connor.
Is that his number?
Yeah.
I forget. No, I
yeah,
really don't
totally.
know.
It's his number.
I forget what it
That's
is.
why I'm erasing it.
Just okay, Connor. You can just do.
And that's for everyone. That's our first overall. Everyone picks that outside of the first two. And who's ninth?
His name has an O, not an E. Oh, the other O.
Connor.
No.
Kenner.
We're just gonna leave that there.
Kyle Kenner.
All right, so we all picked
Kenner.
that. 9 went to. We're looking at
San Jose.
San Jose.
Yep.
This one's interesting to me because here I'm stuck between two guys.
So they had Timo Meyer.
Three guys actually. I'm trying to look who also.
Let's look at their roster. Let's take a look at their roster. I'm just gonna go on the NHL site because
This is probably where I would.
say it,
tricky.
say it, Chris, say it.
I feel like this is where Shabbat falls.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shabbat.
I was gonna say it's between him
Ba-da-dum.
and Besser for me with the way that this team is, but I think that would have been
Yeah,
because they're D's aging and stuff. They have good.
They had
young
Carlson.
offense.
I got
Kidding.
Shabbat.
Yeah, so we got 2 Shabbats.
Well, I can't pick Shabbat. They had Pavelski.
Mm-hmm.
Still, yeah.
They didn't have a bad scoring.
You got Burns too, right? At
Remember,
this
this
point.
is the year prior
Yeah.
to them making the Cup final too.
Yeah.
Melker Carlson.
Well, no, this is the summer right before. Yeah, because 2015-16 they were at the Cup final.
Who were their goaltenders? Let's see. I mean, I wouldn't.
Did they still have Jones? At
They
this
had
point?
just got him because Bruins had just traded them to him after the Lucic deal.
Yeah.
So they would he hadn't even played for them yet. This would be the first time playing for them. That
Antti
coming fall.
Niemi was their goaltender. Wow, what a legend!
Throwback.
Blackhawks legend.
Did they still have Nabokov too?
No, that was
Because at one point I think they had both of them. Did they not?
they had Stalock.
Stanley, that's right.
So let's see. Shabbat was already picked. We can do a couple more.
Was trying to do up to 15 to end the Bruins if you
Yeah.
want, and then
Yeah.
we'll call it.
I would say. Oh my god, dude. Wait, so Kyle Connor wasn't an all-star? That's ridiculous.
Well, this is his breakout season. I feel like is this year.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm trying to Oh my god. Looking at other defensemen. You know what? I think Carlo deserves.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just gonna put Carlo up there because I can't think of anyone else. Solid defenseman. Played a solid amount of games.
All
Mhm.
right. Number 10, we got Colorado coming in.
This is where I have Besser, I think.
I think I'm the same with you. 2 Bessers.
Very fancy Vitor.
Artsy.
It's BOE.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, sure.
Bessing. Yeah, that's terrible.
I'm gonna kill you guys.
Go ahead and try. Do it.
Jacob Forsbach Carlson
Vitor is on the clock.
with the number 10. With the number 10 overall draft pick of the NHL entry-level draft, Vitor da Silva picks Thomas Vanek. There's a dude named Dove McFalls
Wow.
who picked 98. I'm it's hard when you're looking through the draft
Yeah.
and you're you don't see a lot of yellow, so they can. Dude,
Who do we miss?
oh my god.
What? Kirill Kaprizov?
Dude, he was in this draft.
Wow.
He was 130. He was picked
100
135.
He was 135. Oh, wow, damn.
Oh my god. It took him a couple of years to get in the league, though.
Yeah. Well, wait, where is he? Where is Killer Kaprizov? KHL. Well, that makes sense. He's another one of those rookies
Yeah.
from the KHL.
Oh yeah, that's true. Does Andre Kasha have a younger brother or an older brother?
David Kasha.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or it could just be.
Yes.
He might
Yes.
have spent.
They're
in the
actually
farm
related?
system, too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That Andre's his older brother. So who's?
All right. 11 is. We'll try and do this
Can you see?
rapid fire.
All right, for 11,
Can you-
I'd
can you
go.
look Can you see the board?
Yep. Oh, no, I can't. 11 is Florida.
11, I'd go Kirill then for whatever you call it.
Florida.
Floor 11.
For hindsight's sake, because Kaprizov is going off this year.
This is probably. Okay. This is where Aho finds his spot for me.
Really?
Ooh. Sneaky
And then you'd
point.
have like
Spicy.
Barkov and Aho as your top two centers. All right.
Again, for me, I have to look at it because do they have Yandel at this point?
No.
Or was
it's
he-
like a season off, I think.
Dang.
He's still in New York, I think, at that time. I think it's his first year in New York.
Yeah,
at
can
that
you start
point.
with your mask? I can hear that. Let's see. Talk about a nice logo the Panthers have.
I love their reverse retro logo.
Oh, they're
It's
nice.
one of my favorite.
That UC Oganen, huh? What would have thought?
Yeah,
Nick
he was good.
They had Aaron Ekblad. Still, I would have loved that pick.
Hey, there was a Capo Bianco in this draft
Oh my god.
at 63rd.
Wild.
69th.
All right.
No, we were not from
Bitter.
63rd.
On the clock.
I would. Again, I'm trying to. Whoa. John Marino was pick 154. I mean, I don't know how he's doing this year. I heard he's not living.
He's had
up.
ups and downs. He was really good last year, and he's had an all right year this year.
It's just with his contract that stinks. Like you pay big money, and then you're like,
Well, a lot of their D are getting older too, so it kind of just makes sense to lock someone down. It's kind of like think of Boston's growing pains with like Lawton and Zaboral. He's going through the growing pains, but getting better. So that contract makes sense a little bit. Maybe I wouldn't have done as much term. Maybe just done like what was it, 6 years? I think I would have probably done like 4. But is that who you're picking 11 overall?
no, I can't. That's not. Oh my god. Because I still have a first pick. I still have people in the first. Did I pick Aho yet?
No.
I have not.
Huh. So you're the same with me.
I'll just put Aho then.
Yeah. All right. 12 is Dallas Stars.
Who do they end up picking in that?
Gurianov, who's playing really well for them, as a good kind of.
You know what? I'm gonna say
Guri.
yeah.
All right.
I don't see any.
Underline that
This is
one.
where Carlo falls for me, I think.
Okay.
Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Bomb.
Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Bomb.
Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Bomb.
Bum, bum, bum.
Ba-dum.
For me, this is where
Ba-da-dum,
Konechny goes.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
got a little connect.
Got a little connection.
Got a little-
Connection.
Russian
Nice.
instead of the Russian connection.
The French connection.
Yes,
So,
it's a good movie.
I love that. The driving scene in that movie is
Why did I put-
unreal.
Oh yeah.
so
And now is Boston 13, 14, 15. So we're gonna write them out 3 times.
well,
Damn.
Do you guys want to just play like?
How do we end up with 3 first-round picks in a row?
It was just coincidence, but like we traded Luch, and that was the Luch pick was 13.
Yeah.
Our own was 14, and then the one we traded the Flames.
let's do this unanimously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, but we also have. If we're gonna do this unanimously, then we're gonna have to see who. Should we just ditch who we have as individuals? individually who we have.
Well, we should look over who is still some of the better players coming out of this draft that we haven't put in yet. So anyone that we've already put in is off then, if that's what you're going with, if we have to unanimously vote on this. So what you're saying is essentially we're like 3 of us are collectively the GM of this team.
Yes. But I think for this, we can spend like 15 minutes on this, and we talk about what they were salary wise.
Okay.
I think we could do that, right? Do you think we should do that?
All right. I'm gonna give my input on this point. I think the Bruins still take DeBrusque. I think we take him a spot earlier.
Okay.
That's like based on all the players we have and who's left. I think we take DeBrusque right here at number 13. What do you think, Chris?
I just had this is actually where I feel like we would pick Timo Meier.
You think so?
Yeah. He's proven to be a solid guy, and he went 9th overall to San Jose. This is where I would have picked him.
See, I was thinking about Meier too, but it's another one of those situations for me.
Are we thinking as a collective group here? Is that what you're saying, or no?
Well, all right. So if we're doing it collectively, I was just putting it out there that Timo Meier was either going to be this one or the next one for me. So if you want Meier, and it depends on who Vitor wants. Personally, I'd pick DeBrusque here.
You know what's funny?
What?
I was thinking, I think the Bruins should draft a goaltender.
You think they should draft a goaltender at what is it?
I actually thought we were going to do a forward, defenseman, and goalie when we had those 3 picks in a row.
I mean, at the time, Tuukka Rask still wasn't and he was still playing out of his mind. Like he was
1 year removed from the Vezina winning season.
Yeah. So then no, but when I was looking at it, the second-ranked prospect out of European goalies, according to one of their sites, Daniel Vladar.
Huh. Well, do we just want to just do our individual picks then? Because you've already guys named a couple of guys who I might put up there.
Yeah.
From mine. So, Chris, you said DeBrusque 13th.
I had DeBrusque 13th, yeah.
All right.
I get Besser.
All right. So
you
you
get
want to throw
Besser?
those up
I
there?
get Besser. He's a bona fide scorer.
All right, let's put those up for 13 then.
So do we...
No, yeah, we'll put those down as individual ones, yeah. So 13, I had Meier.
M-E-I.
Yeah. Chris, you had DeBrusque, right?
Mm-hmm.
JD.
Yep.
And I... Brock Besser. I think he's that wing that the Bruins needed.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't think he falls in the top 10, but I think the Bruins should have snagged him.
Yeah, because I mean we've obviously recently we've been hurting more on the right wing side because we have Pasternak and then we can't find a second line right wing until we get Craig Smith this year. So that's 6 years removed from this draft.
Yep.
I'm still happy that they moved Smith up to the first line. I think they needed some sprinkle.
Right.
He adds that where Pasternak is firing it more and more of like your power that you're putting out. I feel like okay, so here's how I'm gonna put it. Pasternak's like shooting a cannon. All right.
Yep.
So you get one shot, it's hard, and it's going really fast, and if it goes in, it goes in. Usually it's gonna do some damage. But the consequence of that is that if he fires it and misses, you got to work it back to him to get it to fire it again. Like he's a very like Ovechkin style player in my eyes. With a guy like Craig Smith, he's more like almost like a machine gun, you know? Like he's just going to keep shooting it.
Sure, yeah.
Getting it on net, getting rebounds.
Energizer bunny.
Whereas like you said, Pasternak just wants to wait.
He'll bomb it.
He wants to wait.
And he'll be like, oh, I got to skate back.
Well, he bombs it, which usually leads to like a bigger rebound. But when you have a guy like Smith who's like just peppering the net, you get more like
rebounds,
juicier rebounds than what Pasternak's going to give you.
Right.
Rebounds.
But all right.
I already know who I'm picking 14th for the
Here,
Bruins.
okay. All right. You go first then.
Oh, wait, I already
first.
picked. Should we just do it as of this person wasn't picked by the Bruins, wasn't picked in the top 15.
Okay.
So I'm going to disregard this.
All right.
So any pick after 14 is fair game.
Okay.
Oh, so wait. Now, so it is set, like.
So we're doing a Bruins fantasy draft now. After we did the top 10 or whatever.
Top 13.
Whatever. We can do it.
Jay, just pick who you. Just say who you were gonna pick.
Yeah, who do you want for the Bruins
See
from
if
this
you're thinking the same
draft
thing
with
as
this
me.
pick, assuming that
Okay.
things are mostly I don't know.
Oh, that's where you pick Connor. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we
You want
all
Connor
already.
there?
I
What
thought we all
is
picked
Connor
him
a
eighth.
center or what?
He's
or
left wing.
He's left wing.
But
huh?
didn't you pick
Yeah.
him for Columbus?
Yeah, no, that's what. But then I'm like, can we just like pick with?
If who was based off who's left, who would you
Yes,
pick there?
yes.
All right.
Okay. In that case, then get Jake DeBrusk out of there for me. I'm taking Matt Barzal for the Bruins pick. What we should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
And then Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll keep
'Cause-
my
okay.
I'll keep my picks based off what's available still.
I'm a big JD guy, so
this
I think he'd add to the team regardless where he is.
This is where I would have picked Carlo. Just picked him earlier, kind of like you said with Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm basing mine still off of the top 13 that we already have picked. And then I'll give you my 15th because I know this, and this one probably would really help us right now. We keep flipping back and forth with Coyle at center versus wing, Frederick and Studnicka at center versus wing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is wise that the Bruins had picked Anthony Cirelli. Way off the board. He was picked like 70-something or 50-something overall.
I swear to God, I just saw him.
Yeah, he was up there like third round.
72nd.
72nd overall.
Yep.
I would have picked Cirelli here. Had a nice tandem, and then Coyle can play wing for either Berge or Krejci.
But would we have? Would we have Coyle?
Yeah, because we still would have traded Donato.
Would we have Donato?
Well, yeah.
I will forever be glad that we
You've got
traded.
DH.
Antony.
I will forever be grateful that we traded Ryan Donato.
Dude, I was so hyped on him, and then he just
Yeah.
That's
like a fat poop.
dude. That's the perfect summary of like his Boston Bruins career, pretty much.
Just like
Like,
poor
he
kid. Like
Dude, he came out hot, but then by like the playoffs, I hated him.
Conor McGregor saw him, and then that was it.
Dude, I literally like that playoff run. I hated him. I felt like he was like a Danton Heinen for me, where I was like, can we get rid of this guy?
That whole third line was tough. You had
Yeah.
like, well,
our entire
this is a
third
guy
line
that
history.
before we end here, this is actually a guy that was on the team for the Bruins back then. I think if the Bruins can't go after anyone big right now, they could bring back familiar face to play third line center with Riley Nash because he might be available from Columbus.
He's hurt right now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's out like 4 weeks.
Really? I didn't know that part.
Chris, who do you pick for 15?
15.
Saying that everyone is
Wait, hold up.
anything after is
Did
free.
we miss? I thought I saw something. Give me a couple seconds.
I'll give you a couple of seconds.
You gonna give me a couple seconds?
God, fuck.
Sorry, all the names are like
Oh,
kind of
it's
blending
tough.
together while I'm like scrolling. So I swear to God, I just saw who was I don't even know who I was thinking of anymore.
Dude, wait. Saying that everyone in hindsight. How did I forget?
It's because we switched in between Vitor
I
because of
know.
your idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you stop that?
Like, the draft
please?
looks good, and then it's like clones.
Yeah, the Aho clone. Okay, do you think if you're allowed to clone players later in the future, do you think that all of the rosters would be the same but with clones?
Yeah, it'd be all McDavid.
Nah, you'd have like 2 Bobby Orrs. You'd have a Wayne Gretzky, a Connor, a
This
Mario
is
Lemieux
assuming
too.
that you still have the DNA of the person like by the time
it's
you're able
viable.
to clone people,
Who knows?
I think next.
and you can only have one. You can't have two McDavids. Like, you can't have one center, one wing McDavid. You have to have like one McDavid, and you just build your team that way.
I think what an episode we can do. We'll talk about this after, but
It's like a fantasy draft.
a fantasy draft of the all-time great teams.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll actually do it like a draft where you have to like. We won't do this next week because we'll talk all about the trade deadline, which is coming up this coming Monday.
Also,
So maybe the
15, I get Kyle
following-
Connor. Just to repeat,
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Kyle Connor.
What about him?
I'd take him
picking with
15th.
Okay.
This
I
is,
just thought of that right now. Sorry to
yeah, no,
interject.
you're good. But maybe the following week, not this coming Tuesday, which would be the 13th, but
Why?
the following week.
Why?
Oh. Oh. Well.
Kiel
Yeah, we'll definitely
Kinar.
do something like that, I think.
Kiel.
Where we can definitely do an all-time list. Do you want to do all-time or do you just want to do active players? Like,
I feel like, I mean,
all-time?
we could do either. We could do both.
yeah.
Why not both?
I mean, we could. It's just like we could also like factor in like,
Actually, no. I feel,
like players currently playing and then actually do it with like salary
Okay,
cap
all-time's
and things.
Oh, if we did a salary cap, then we'd have to do a lot of research beforehand.
dude,
and
all
come up-
time is just it's too easy because every single team is gonna have
One of the
it's gonna
big
have
three.
Mario, it's gonna have Gretzky,
And,
it's gonna have Orr.
Yeah.
It's gonna have McDavid.
And then Howe and Crosby
Yeah.
and Rocket Richard even.
So I feel
And
like
then-
I want to do current players more
Let's do that.
because I feel like you see so many lists and everyone's always like, oh yeah,
yeah.
Mario, and then
They have
everyone-
Orr,
All right.
Bork.
yeah.
We'll do this the following week after the 13th. So tune in for that. We're going to be talking about the trade deadline and the aftermath this following episode. And then episode 9 will be what we just talked about. So thank you all for tuning in today. I'm Chris Ferrante.
I'm Stat Guy.
Chris Corto.
And thank you all for watching. And just continue to keep following. Yeah. I can't fake a burp, so we'll end it with that. But, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy. And we will look forward to bringing you info in the future.
I doesn't cut this out.
We will. All right. Bye-bye,
Let's
y'all.
leave that in.